transition on Atlantic Television Network. Independent National Electoral Commission says it has concluded plans to transmit results of the November 11th Bayelsa governorship election manually. The INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner in the state, Mr. Obo Efanga, stated this in Yanagwa during an interactive session with religious leaders and faith-based organizations, adding that INEC was ready to conduct free, fair, and credible elections, and only voters accredited by BVAS would be allowed to vote. According to him, immediately voters are given the ballot paper, they can start voting, and advised those who have not collected their cards to go to the INEC office in their local government areas, while urging stakeholders to advise their candidates to be peaceful. Reverend Joseph Belema, one of the religious leaders, commended INEC, stressing that free, fair, and credible election was a way forward for electing good leaders, and called on the candidates not to see the election as a do-or-die affair. Abducted Benue State Commissioner of Information, Culture and Tourism, Matthew Abo, regained his freedom in the early hours of Thursday. Abo, who was abducted by gunmen who invaded his house in Zaki Biam on Sunday, was said to have reunited with his family at about 1 a.m. A source close to the family did not state whether any ransom was paid before his release. The spokesperson for the State Police Command, Catherine Anene, is yet to make any comment on the matter. Nigeria Railway Corporation says it has suspended some staff over an act of misconduct which it considered as a flagrant disobedience to lay down rules and utter betrayal of the confidence reposed in such workers, especially at this time when the federal government is making all efforts at revitalizing and modernizing the corporation. A statement signed by the Deputy Director of Public Relations, Yakub Mahmoud, said the suspension of the staff follows a viral video that has been trending on various social media platforms, vividly showing railway staff negotiating with passengers on board Lagos-Ibadan train service to pay without obtaining official boarding tickets, and urged the general public to condemn such act of misconduct. Yakub said the misconduct is regrettable and unacceptable as it negates the identified tenets and norms of the corporation, and has therefore placed the identified erring officers on immediate suspension pending the outcome of the in-depth investigation already ongoing by the management committee set up to investigate the issue. The statement also assured passengers and the general public that the unwholesome attitude and image dent to the corporation by any staff will not be tolerated nor treated with any levity, adding that disciplinary procedures in line with extant rules, citing relevant sections of the Nigerian Railway Corporation General Rules and Public Service Rules, will definitely be visited on all those found wanting or connected to the irresponsible act. The statement further enjoined all intending passengers on Lagos-Ibadan train service and other train corridors to insist on demand for boarding tickets after making appropriate payment at the designated stations or book online appropriately. Passengers are equally advised to take note that the electronic ticketing system is being deployed and will be available on both the Lagos-Ibadan train service and the Warri-Itakpe train service by end of October 2023. Special court-martial set up by the Nigerian Army has found the former Group Managing Director and Executive Vice Chairman of Nigerian Army Properties Limited, Major General Umaru Mwazu Mohammed, guilty of 14 of 18 count charges, which are all contrary to service laws. The charges include stealing, forgery, conspiracy, theft, and unauthorized diversion of Army property, among others, and they are all subject to service discipline, adding that among the charges was a collection of a sum of $1 million paid by shipping companies for the use of Nigerian Army jetty located at number 6 Marina, Victoria Island, Lagos. Major General Umaru Mohammed was also found guilty of a theft of $430.8 thousand being monies paid into Nigerian Army domiciliary account at Unity Bank, Abuja, for use of Nigerian Army jetty Marina VI Lagos. It also alleged that Major General Mohammed was guilty of withdrawing and confiscating the sum of 74 million naira out of 75 million naira paid for a property belonging to the Nigerian Army at Ikoyi, Lagos, stating that General was, however, found not guilty on allegations that the sold army property was 200 million naira in Lagos, as well as stole the sum of another 750 million naira out of the sum of 2.5 billion naira secured from banks, as well as contribution from subscribers for the army housing estate in Asokoro, Abuja. He was also not found guilty of charges of forging a deed of agreement document pursuant to confiscating another army property in Lagos. A special court-martial with Major General Kames Miam as president has 7 other major generals as members and a brigadier general as judge advocate, and it is expected to read out its sentences for the accused by Tuesday next week, adding that during the court-martial, Major General Mohammed was brought into the court in a wheelchair, but president of the court, Major General Mayan, said all necessary medical checks should be carried out on the accused and all proved that he was fit to stand trial. Minister of Interior Bumi Tunji-Ojo has issued a 2-week timeline for the processing of the Nigerian passport. Tunji-Ojo stated this in Abuja, said the Nigerian Immigration Service has cleared over 204,000 backlog of passport applications in the last 3 weeks, and apologized to Nigerians that the clearance of the backlog has spilled into 3 weeks as opposed to the 2 weeks deadline he gave. The minister pleaded with Nigerians to go to the Nigerian Immigration Service offices to clear their passports, adding that they should not pay but to report any officials engaged in racketeering. He also urged Nigerians to please lodge their complaints via the following 0802-375-3414, preferably SMS and WhatsApp, or email aa-ajiboye@yahoo.com. Tragedy struck on Wednesday as Senate correspondent of the Tribune newspaper Tijani Adeyemi died of cardiac arrest in one of the National Assembly shuttle buses. The Tribune reporter had boarded one of the shuttles from the main gate known as Mopol Gate around 10. His remains were laid to rest at the Gudus Cemetery in line with Islamic rites. World Teachers' Day is a heartfelt tribute to the dedicated educators who shape the future by imparting knowledge and inspiring young minds. This global celebration acknowledges the invaluable contributions of teachers and their role in nurturing generations. As World Teachers' Day 2023 approaches, so let's delve into the significance of this day, its historic origins, and the ways you can join in honoring educators worldwide. World Teachers' Day 2023 is a day of recognition and appreciation for teachers around the world. It's an occasion to celebrate the profound impact teachers have on society by equipping students with the skills and knowledge and values needed for success. This day also serves as a reminder of the importance of quality education and the role of teachers in achieving it. World Teachers' Day has a rich history dating back to 1966 when the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Corps of Teachers in Paris. This conference adopted the UNESCO and ILO recommendation concerning the status of teachers, which outlines teachers' rights and responsibilities. World Teachers' Day was first celebrated on October 5, 1994, to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the 1966 conference. Since then, it has become an annual event recognized globally as an occasion to acknowledge and honor the remarkable contributions of teachers to society. You are watching The Transition on Atlantic Television Network. We return after this break. back. This is Atlantic Television Network Transition. Now the rest of our stories. The Senate has confirmed 3 additional nominees as minister as directed by President Bola Tinubu. The nominees are Balarebe Abbas, Dr. Jamila Biu Ibrahim, and Mr. Ayodele Olawale. The 3 nominees were confirmed after minister nominees Balarebe Abbas slumped while standing before the Senate.
The Senate has confirmed the nomination of Balarebe Abbas Lawal, Dr. Jamila Biu Ibrahim, and Mr. Ayodele Olawale not to continue with the screening process since he has presented his profile satisfactorily to the Senate.
And says things about myself. I feel very, very happy. Today is maybe my happiest day, being here and being addressing this chamber. I want to end here by saying that environment, which I think I may be going there, is a very important issue. And we know that we have been going through a lot of issues to do with environment. Thank you very much.
He's a seasoned
development and advancement of entrepreneurship and leadership skills to the Nigerian youth.
Enjoy. However, Abraham Lincoln once said, "I do not know who my grandfather was. I am much more concerned to know what his grandson will be." So this is my mission and my pledge to you. I will work so that Nigerian youth will have opportunities to educate themselves, to develop themselves, and exploit their potential talents through acquiring entrepreneurship and leadership skills. Because I am not alone.
The Senate, after a closed-door session, continued with the screening of Mr. Ayodele Olawale and resolved to confirm the 3 nominees having met the required standard for confirmation. Out of the 51 ministerial nominees sent to the Senate has screened and confirmed 48, leaving 3 out. The Senate has since said the 3 nominations were subject to security details from the DSS. From the National Assembly, Abuja, Rotimi Adewuyi, ATN News.
The newly confirmed Minister Abbas Balarabe says he slumped during his screening at the Senate due to exhaustion. The minister-designate said he got the news of his nomination on Tuesday and had stayed up all night to anybody. And now to some business reports. State governments have borrowed about 46 in June 2023. The findings were based on an analysis of the half-year 2023 financial statements of Access Bank, Fidelity Bank, and Zenith Bank Group, and 9.7 billion loan. It was followed by Zenith Bank with 1.78 billion naira borrowed, and Fidelity Bank borrowed 1.42 billion naira, and to be refunded within the 6-month period. According to the H1 2023 financial statements of Access Bank, the outstanding balance on the salary bailout fund was 58.84 billion naira by June 30th, 2023, and from 101.81 billion naira in December 2022. This was according to an analysis of the communiques issued by the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee between January to July for 2022 and 2023. In 2022, a total of 4.96 trillion naira was shared for the first 7 months of the year, while in 2023, a total of 5.5 trillion naira was shared for the first 7 months of the year. Therefore, the figure for the internally generated revenue was limited to 25 out of the 36 states in the country. National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency says its data shows that the federal government lost about $514.9 million, about 390 billion naira, using Central Bank of Nigeria's current exchange rate of 757.5 naira to a dollar, while the firms between January and February 2023 fled 171.1 billion standard cubic feet of gas valued at about $599 million. This gives a total of about 847 billion naira lost between January and August last year and the same period this year, while the volume of gas fled in the 8-month period this year was 16.28%, higher compared with the same period in 2022, adding that the gas flared in the first 8 months of this year had the potential of generating 17,100 gigawatts an hour of electricity, while it emitted 9.1 million tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. In addition, it noted that the offending companies were liable for penalties of $342 million, about 251 billion naira, adding, however, that a large chunk of the penalties was never collected by the federal government, while in comparison, the Oil Spill Remediation Agency stated that between January and August 2022, the oil firms were liable for penalties of about $294 million, and that the gas lost had a power generation potential of 14,700 gigawatts of electricity, while it was equivalent to carbon dioxide emissions of 7,800 tons. Some of the offending companies, according to NOSRA, include Shell Petroleum Development Company, Nigerian Petroleum Development Company, Chevron Nigeria, Mobil Oil, Elf Petroleum Nigeria, Nigerian Ajib Oil Company, Adas Petroleum, Texaco Overseas, and Nigeria Cromwell and South Atlantic Petroleum, among others. The report comes on the heels of federal government's pledge to the United Nations in 2020 to attain zero gas flare by 2060, 10 years. You are watching the Transition on Atlantic Television Network. Still ahead, international tidbits. Police are searching for an unidentified suspect in the murder of a social justice activist who was stabbed multiple times on a New York street while returning from a wedding. Ryan Carson